If you had an income of $150,000 a year and didn't have to work, what would you do with all the spare time? Ask Reddit. Spinach interesting 82. Garden, cook, draw, play video games, read comics, watch movies, travel, pick up new hobbies, exercise for longer periods of time, and give more time, love, and attention to my wife and pets. Mysterious_goat 799. 3505. Travel, rock climbing, offer to watch my nephew more often. FLPACSNR 8847. Read, there would be time now. Dragon_writer 5867. Spend it with my family. Always_dead_inside 2641. My job would then be to be healthy. I get very little time for it right now. About 40 minutes before work. It's what I did when I was unemployed for 18 months. I got healthy, worked out, cooked and ate better, kept my place cleaner, and still had time to relax with video games and reading. I loved it honestly. If money had not been tight, it would have been fucking lovely. To heaven. 105. First, go on more vacations around the world. Relax. Find tutors who can help me learn new skills like languages and music. Then after a while find volunteer or a non-profit to work at. Somewhere where I can feel like my contribution is actually helping improve the place around me. Instead of simply generating profit for the sake of generating profit. Pirate Santa _1, 1708. I would make custom knives and do metal repairs for my community for cheap like mower decks etc. and some prototyping if I had time. Just me smoking. 523. I'd be the best mom I could ever be. Spend time with my kids. Actually be able to go to the school stuff during the day. What a treat. I'd help them with homework and just be there for them whenever they needed. Cooking PFFT anything you want. We got the money and mom has the time. Wanna learn a new hobby? Oh yeah baby, let's sign you up for all the extracurriculars to see what you love doing. It would be such a freeing feeling to nurture them the way I want and the way they need. Samgala 80. 1044. Or Reddit. What crimes deserve a harsher punishment? On the flip side, what crimes deserve a lesser punishment? Ask Reddit. Fuckwit Mo. Those scammers who trick old folks and lonely people into sending them their life savings need. Severe punishment. They are pure evil. Edit. Yes. I've seen The Beekeeper. Quote. Bubba Jeebus. 7595. In Czechia you can get like 2 years for rape and 15 years for growing a few marijuana plants in the garden. Doshk. 1701. 1. Child abuse deserves harsher. Extension Magician 44, 3387. My wife's friend was shot in the head by her husband 2 times. He then went to bed while his wife's body remained on the floor. Their 2 little kids were in the house as well. In the morning he woke up and called 911. He was arrested and faced multiple charges, which was especially bad for him since he already had a felony in his past. He was sentenced to 8 years. Someone else I know has a boyfriend that has been part of a robbery where a man was killed. He got 7 years. When he got out he robbed an 86-year-old man and his wife. He shot the man and was later arrested. He got another 7 years for that. I believe there should be longer punishment for killing and attempting to kill people in my state. Nice to be nice. 122. 2. Boeing basically killed hundreds of people because of corporate greed. No one was criminally charged and all they got was a big fine. Upset item 9756. 1535. Texting and driving should be far more harsh than seatbelt. Truthseeker 1228, 4174. Police misconduct should not be rewarded with a paid vacation and promotion. Upper underscore perception 5662. 3390. Punishment for white-collar crime is a bit soft and half of them get out of jail earlier because they can afford some kind of an appeal. Drugs require a different approach than what we are doing currently. Positive reward 2863. 764. What doesn't require a license but should? Ask Reddit. Lisbeth Borden. Being a counselor, therapist here in the UK, the sheer amount of people who just up and start calling themselves these titles and start practicing is disgusting. No idea the level of traumas they can inflict on others who are more vulnerable just by not being prepared. Luckily, things are changing and it should come into effect fairly soon. Entity underscore 2656. Those 50 feet long RVs motor coach built on bus frames, Gliese 2, 7130. I am in Texas. For God's sake, start making general contractors and subs be licensed. I am so tired of getting to a site and spending 4 days fixing the tiler's work and costing the customer thousands. These fly-by-nighters are killing our industry. L192837465. 2692. In Pennsylvania, you need a license to cut hair and do nails, but you don't need one to be an electrician and burn someone's house down. Some local municipalities require them, but the vast majority don't. Edit. Just to add, when I was self-employed, customers would call up for a quote or to start a job and ask for my license number. I told them I was registered as a contractor with the state, and I could give them that number. But there was no license number. I am in a very rural part of the state. There was literally no entity that licensed you. Bigger cities, Philly, Pittsburgh, even Scranton, issue licenses, but they only apply within their city limits. All you need for a license in Scranton is a check. I forget how much it was, but that was literally it. Write a check. Get a piece of paper that says you can work in the city. I am in favor of a statewide license, but I don't want to turn this political. It will never happen with the smaller government, less regulation crowd. H0 Lish MDT 3169. Owning exotic pets, Adventurous Night 541, 1590. Being a cop. At the federal level, a bad cop can go from town to town without much consequences. There needs to be a federal level licensing and background work history database with the ability to lose the licensing forever for serious infractions. Scottish Bear Viking 3912. Being an auto mechanic, anybody can legally do it. You need a license to cut hair, but anybody can legally work on your brakes. Source. I'm an auto mechanic. IC Tough minus 1791. 2299. Driving when you are over 80. They need to retake the practical driving test. Fuzzy underscore square underscore 6262. 1765. What is something you consider too serious to joke about? Ask Reddit. Luxury live. As someone from my country, Pierre Desproges, said, we can laugh of everything, but not with everyone, no matter the joke. Someone, somewhere, want to like it. It means that, when it comes to jokes, nothing is off limits, but you just have to be careful about your audience. And #X200B. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for all the replies. And for the jokes. Dash. I know that, in context, he didn't mean exactly that, but the point still stands. Nedelka03. 5411. All dark jokes are okay. Though, the wording is even more important. Joking about deep and difficult topics requires talent. So how you express yourself, I think, is very important. Temporary Think 9300. 2629. Whether every single question in AskReddit is for producing human-generated content for training AI. Because that's what it seems like these days. Chedeline. 1126. I spent a couple decades as a paramedic. A dark sense of humor was a survival skill as much as a coping mechanism. But that was usually kept internal. Regular people don't get it. Because some of it is horrific. I don't joke about dead kids. Because I've seen more than my share. And that shit ain't funny. I'd still probably crack funnies about bloated adult corpses though. Again desensitized after hundreds of them. Just about everything else was fair game. Uncle Dude. 575. Because this says, you. There are a lot of things I personally hate hearing jokes about because they genuinely seem like the person is just trying to be edgy. If there is a heat of the moment. Quick-witted. Once-in-a-lifetime lineup for a dark joke about anything. Sure. But saying, anyone wanna hear a dark joke? Out of nowhere or not reading the room during a talk about that topic is just attention-seeking. Fully booked TX. 390. I think the limit is when the person being joked about doesn't want to be joked about. I can make jokes about fat people. But it's not right to joke about an specific fat person. Ezekiel. 765. I would never joke about someone's child's death, miscarriage, stillborn, or child death are all off limits emo. Own introduction 6830. 102. For me, joking about someone's mental health struggles is off limits. I've seen firsthand how deeply it can affect people. And it's not something to take lightly. Dreamy SJ. 285.